All right, it looks like I'm recording. I went through this the other day with another knife, and I kind of screwed up my recording, so I'm gonna do it again. And I mentioned that what I'm going to show is how I heat treat a spring for a lockback folder, and I got dialed in on this by a fine figure of a man named Keith Johnson from northern Minnesota. Builds absolutely one hell of a knife. I look up to him greatly. Anyway, I appreciate his opinion. And this, we have in the modern world, we have all kinds of technology. We got these $1,000 heat treat ovens and so forth. We can dial in specific heat treat recipes and hardening and tempering. But this is old school. Just think for a minute of all the slip joints and folders and muzzle loaders and flint locks from 200 years ago that had springs in them that were hardened and tempered. And you know what? They didn't have an even heat oven in their knife shop. They had bear fat and things that burned. And so what I'm going to do is show the simplest method of heat treating a spring. Now this is just a flat spring. It's just a flat spring that's going on got a spring up from the rear spacer to the lock bar on a lock back. It's 50 thousandths thick, 1095. I've got it sort of pre-bent to where I want it to, so it hits things the way I want it to reach. And I wrapped it in some wire, took a torch, thermal cycled it, got it just through decoalescence, quenched it in Parks 50, okay? This thing's hard. So now I'm gonna temper it. And what I'm gonna do is, I'll just show you. I'm gonna click this off, and then we'll start another video here in a couple minutes. Okay, here we are. It's part 2 of the video. Now what I'm gonna do is take my flat spring. I'm gonna lay it in this, it's about a 5-inch diameter, little bitty $12 Lodge cast iron skillet from Walmart. Now I'm just gonna lay this right there in that skillet, and I'm gonna cover it, and I do mean just cover it with used motor oil. I'm gonna dump some on there, and that doesn't cover it. It doesn't cover it. I'm gonna lay it, I got a little curve on it, so I'm gonna lay the curve up, and I'm gonna put in, I don't know if you can still kind of see it maybe peeking through there just a little bit. I'm gonna put enough oil to just cover it. There. Now, get this oil off my hand. Sorry about that, forgot my torch. I'm just gonna light that stove. And I'm gonna bring this oil up to basically its combustion point. It's gonna get up 450, 500 degrees or so. And it's gonna literally, once it starts really gassing off and smoking, the flames coming up around the skillet are going to ignite the oil. And then we're going to let it burn. So all I'm going to do right now is stop this video until it gets close to combustion. Then I'm going to start the next segment. Okay, it has just started smoking. I've only been away from that last video for about 90 seconds. But now it's starting to smoke and really bubble. And what's going to happen is it's going to ignite from the flame coming up around the skillet. It's going to really start smoking, and then it'll ignite. And as soon as it does that, I'm just going to turn the flame off on the little camp stove. And if it doesn't ignite, you can always just touch it off with a propane burner, which I'm tempted to do, but it'll go. Here it comes. It's gonna burn, it's gonna ignite. There it is. Now, I just shut the burner off. I just shut that burner off. I'm gonna let this thing burn. There's no reason to record this whole thing. I'll just let you know how long it took. I'm just reporting in. This is the 1 minute mark. Okay, so it's just been basically 3 minutes, and the big rolling flame is slowly dying down. All the petroleum distillates are flashing off, and pretty soon it's just going to run out of stuff to burn, and all that's going to be left down in there, it goes. There's just going to be a bunch of burn up gooey carbon in the bottom of the skillet and that tempered spring. Then I'm going to put the knife together and show you how that goes. This is a one-time deal. It's just about burned out. There's my spring down there in the bottom. Black and gooey. And boom, she's done. Okay. Now I'll go put this, just clean that off and put the knife together. Oh, okay. Now, thought just for posterity's sake, I'd show this spring, just black, right? Just black as can be. All I'm going to do now is hit this on a Scotch-Brite wheel, clean it up, and then put the knife together. All right, I'm recording. This is a follow-up, and I realized I didn't finish my little series there. This is the knife that I've finished with that spring that we just heat treated. Thumb stud on here, but this is the spring. Hear that click? Boy, she locks in. And this is that spring. I've been working this thing for a couple days now. If that knife was sharp, I would have just cut myself. But boop. She's locked in. I'm just grabbing the blade. She's locked in tight. So anyway, that's how I heat treat these 1095 spring. I think when that thing's running, it's running about, see if I do that, I go boop. About 700 degrees or so when that thing's burning for a few minutes, and the spring will last a really long time. So, boop. Okay, heat treating a lockback spring, or any spring as far as that goes.